Hello and welcome all of you to Bangalore IAS Academy. This series T10. In this, we discuss the most probable and the most repeated 10 topics from the UPSC prelims previous year questions. Today I'm here with a topic from modern India. See, from modern India also, topics doesn't repeat too much because the syllabus is lost. But there are some topics which are highly demanding. I'll show you two PYQs. See, this in 2017, there's a question about Ryotwari settlement. Very basic question. In 2012, again, a very basic question from Ryotwari System. But in this video, I'm not going to discuss just about Ryotwari. I'm going to discuss about Ryotwari, Mahalwari, permanent settlement, and even the Ijaradari system. In fact, these four are the only land revenue settlements you have to study from modern India. Now, why land? Why these things are important? It's at the crux. These things are at the crux of British administration in India. Now, understand this. British are here for money. Alright? From where do they get the money? They need revenue. And what is the biggest source of revenue? Even at present, 50% of Indians are engaged in agriculture. So imagine the time period, 1757. That's when Battle of Plassey happened. At that time, lion's share of India's economy is revolving around agriculture. The more money you take from agriculture, the more rich you are. That is why the prime focus of British is about these land revenue settlements. So the first thing they will do once they come into power, I'll give you a time there just to clear out the facts. See, 1757, Battle of Plassey happens. British get control of Bengal, but it's not real control. 1764, Battle of Buxar happens, in which they get the Diwali right and the Nizamat right. Now, Diwali is the term. Diwali means revenue rights. Nizamat means administrative rights, which is judiciary and police. This is where the experiments will start with Diwali. So 1764, the administrative experiments will start. At that time, the person who is in charge is this person called Robert Clive. Now, Robert Clive is not a viceroy. He is not a governor general because they don't have that system there. This governor general system will come only in 1772 because in 1772 they will pass an act called Government of India Act 1772 or Regulating Act 1772. Then only Governor General will come. Before that, it is this person, Robert Clive. So Robert Clive will start with the first experiment, first land revenue experiment. That experiment is called Ijaradari System. Ijaradari System, in simple words, is known as revenue farming system. Now, what is revenue farming? Think of it. British has the land, and they will put this land on auction. They will say that you can take this land on lease for an amount. Whoever quotes the highest amount, we will give it to you. Now, the idea is the highest amount will come to the British, and that person will collect the tax from that region to make use of this money he has given to the British. Now, this is a very exploitative system. The more money you quote the land for, the more money you have to extract. That is revenue farming system. But it was not a very successful system because people were not really interested to quote the money upfront. So it did function so far. In 1764, he introduced it, and it was soon replaced. The first system that was really established and that actually settled in different parts of India was known as the permanent settlement system. At the moment permanent settlement comes to your mind, a few things should come along with it. First thing, who introduced it or who conceptualized it? It was conceptualized by this viceroy named Lord Cornwallis. He was the person who conceptualized it. Second, what is the time in which he conceptualized it? It is the same time period in which he was viceroy. That is 1798 or the late 1790s. Third, which region did he do it? It was primarily in Bengal. Because Bengal was under their control at that time, other regions they are only starting. These three things first should come to your mind. Now I explain what is meant by this permanent settlement. Now think of it. The British is going to fix the revenue of a region permanently. Now imagine me as Lord Cornwallis. I am going to say, see, I have this much land. I'm going to divide this land into 4. And I'm going to fix the revenue of each piece of land into rupees 100. From each piece of land, I should get 100 rupees permanently fixed. Who is going to give me this money? It is the zamindar. So in each piece of land, they will appoint a zamindar. This zamindar has to give this money permanently, fix it to the viceroy. Now the interesting part of this system, what if this zamindar collects 200 from this region? If the zamindar is able to collect 200, I still need only 100 from. The surplus 100 can be taken by the zamindar. But the problem is, if the zamindar collects only 50 from this region, 50 should come from his pocket to me. The British thinking was like this: let the zamindar collect more and let them give us only 100, that is permanent, and let them use the surplus money back into this land so that land will get developed, agricultural productivity will increase. This was the whole idea. And in this, they had something called the sunset clause. Now, sunset clause means you have to collect the revenue and you have to settle the revenue before the sunset on that particular day. If you don't settle the revenue before the sunset, this piece of land will be put for auction again from the zamindar. The zamindar will lose his right to collect revenue. This was the system. This system failed miserably. Why it failed miserably, I'll tell you. Just take this number. The idea is I fix it 100, zamindar will collect 200 and he can give 100 to me. The British wanted it. The initial estimate itself was 500. The initial estimate was too high that no zamindar could meet it. So naturally what happened? Every zamindar started losing their land for re-auction. And in India you should understand, zamindari comes hereditarily. Upper caste people, feudal lords, they hold the land traditionally for generations. And when it is going for auction, they will lobby together, they will buy it back. So it was a failure for the British. That is this idea. Understand the system, sunset clause, how it is auctioned, why it failed. These are the basics. Now I will move to the second system. Mahalwari. Now Mahalwari, the person who introduced it, his name is Holt Mackenzie. Time period in which he introduced 1820s. Much later, almost 20 years after the permanent settlement. Region where he introduced the northwest of India. So permanent settlement, Cornwallis, 1790s, that was Bengal, this is northwest. Now what is this system? Very easy to understand. Take this word Mahal out of Mahalwari. Mahal means a village. So in this system, let's come back to this map here. This is the tract of land I told you, which will be divided into 4 and given to the zamindars. In Mahalwari, if this is an entire village, this entire village will be taxed as a single unit. So instead of 100, 100, 100, this entire village will be taxed as a single unit for 400. Because some regions will have high productivity, some regions will have low productivity. This system will cure that. The village headman is the one who is responsible for paying the revenue. This is the system. It was partially successful because some regions, the village panchayats were very strong. That is the idea. Now coming to the last system, the same system from which UPSC asked 2 questions. Ryotwari. Ryotwari introduced by 2 people. Thomas Munro and Alexander Reed. These are the 2 people who introduced it. Time period again, exactly the same as Mahalwari, 1820s. Region, south of India. Now when I explain this, you will understand why south of India. To explain this again, take this word out of it. Riot. Riot means peasant. So this is one system. Now let's come back to this map again. In this system, I am not going to divide this land into tracts. I am not going to consider it as an entire village. No. What I am going to do is to identify a riot, a peasant, and take my tax directly from the peasant. I will not involve with the village middleman. I will not involve with the zamindar. I am going to deal directly with the peasants. I will estimate that person's revenue. This person will pay to me. British and the peasant directly. This is called Ryotwari System. Because in south of India, the culture of zamindari was very less, almost absent. So it was very difficult to find the middleman. So the British came up with a direct system, Ryotwari System. The British even publicized it as a reformative move, where they are cutting the middlemen and dealing directly with the peasants. So in that way, this was also partially successful. They ran it for some time. The idea is collecting it directly from the peasants. So in short, to summarize it, permanent settlement, permanently fixed, zamindar in the middle. Mahalwari, estimated at the village level, village head will pay the rent. Ryotwari, estimated with respect to individual peasant with no middleman. Ryotwari in South India, Mahalwari in Northwest, permanent settlement in Bengal region. Permanent settlement Lord Cornwallis, Ryotwari system Thomas Munro, Alexander Reed, and Holt Mackenzie, the Mahalwari system. Ijaradari, Robert Clive, the first experiment. That's it. With this, we have covered one of the most confusing topics in modern India. I hope the idea is clear. See you next time with some other video. Thank you.